Hello again, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Seminole Showdown. I'm Sean Woodland alongside Seth Grossman. Tonight we're going to be getting you ready for the game between the #1 Florida State Seminoles and the #10 Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And we'll be heading down to Andrews Sports Bar and Grill for a look at tonight's pregame rally. And Seth, in the past, a couple teams have looked like they might be able to knock Florida State off of the ACC throne, but looks like Georgia Tech might be for real, might be able to stick around for a couple of years.
It might be the Ramblin' Wreck this season. North Carolina in years past, Virginia last year, could be Georgia Tech's year. We'll find out. Since Florida State joined the ACC in 1992, only 2 conference teams have managed to knock off the Noles. Virginia did it back in 1995, and North Carolina State pulled off the feat last season. Tonight, Georgia Tech will try to become the 3rd team to upset Florida State and the 1st to do so in Tallahassee.
Will the next challenger to Florida State in the ACC please stand up? 2 years ago, it was North Carolina. Last year, it was Virginia. This year, the honor goes to Georgia Tech.
It looks like Georgia Tech's program has arrived. It looks like they are going to be a perennial top 10, top 20 football team. Right now, probably top 10.
We've been fortunate enough to be able to win the conference every year we've been in it, which leads to other teams trying to get to our level. I feel like Georgia Tech is one of those teams that has the ability to come down and beat us if we don't play as good as we can possibly play.
But in their last 7 meetings, the Yellow Jackets have done nothing to earn Florida State's respect. They've been outscored 284-54, and they expect the Noles to be just as tough Saturday night.
We'll have our hands full offensively, defensively, and special teams, so we're going to have our top game going in there and get some breaks with turnovers and things that you need to do that to upset a great team like that.
So does this Yellow Jacket team have what it takes to break Florida State's 41-game home unbeaten streak?
I definitely think they're for real. They were for real last year when they came out and had an 18-play, 10-minute drive against us. So you definitely have to be aware of what they can throw at you.
They have a great ball club. They're going to come in fired up and everything, but that just can't happen in dope.
Nah, I don't think so. I mean, I don't feel like no team can come in and just beat Florida State. But, you know, we can't get beat at any given time, so we got to go out and play as a team.
One of the big keys for Florida State tonight will be the play of the offensive line. Now, the Noles' big guys did not play as well as expected against Louisiana Tech, so tonight they are looking to improve on the disappointing performance.
Offensive linemen normally spend their careers in obscurity, but at Florida State, the guys up front have become usual scapegoats, and after a disappointing first game, the linemen are catching flack once again.
The first game we wasn't pleased with what happened, but you know they gave us a few different things than what we were looking at in 2 days, and we thought we made some, made some mistakes and we did some good things, but overall we weren't happy as a unit.
If I was a teacher, I'd give us like a D+ on the way we played out there. It was not a dominating performance. We are supposed to be one of the best in the Americas as a unit, and we came out there and sure enough didn't show it.
Big mistakes did not hurt the Noles against Louisiana Tech. It was a combination of little things, and the Seminoles are hoping those mistakes can be easily corrected.
You just have to get perfect reps. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So the intensity has to raise.
We just got to get out and get it done. We work a little harder at it, making sure that we stick on our block, getting the hat in the right place, and just be particular, just working and working it.
Taking blame and taking punishment just seem to come with the territory when you play offensive line for Florida State. But the big guys will keep taking blame if it keeps getting them wins.
That's because Val told us a story about being an upper dog is a lot tougher because you got to fight off everybody, and nobody really wants to root for you except for yourself. And so we just got to keep on going and keep on believing in our own selves. Don't worry about what people say about us.
During the past couple of weeks in practice, Florida State has made some changes on offensive line. Eric Thomas will now be starting at center tonight. Nick Franklin is out with an injury, so Ryan Sprague now starts at tight end. Now, one big lift that Florida State did get this week, Friday night, Lavernius Coles cleared to play. That whole incident with the ticket involving the trip to Houston and whether he went to an agent's party or not, couldn't find any wrongdoing in there, so Lavernius will be back. Should be a big lift for Florida State's offense.
You had him at wide receiver with Peter Work, and then you throw Rondu into his back after his injury, and you talk about a team that can just open up and explode against a Georgia Tech defense, which is kind of questionable at this point, playing Navy last week. This is a team that could throw and put up over 40 points in the game, which we'll see my prediction later. But I think this is a team, Florida State, that can put some points on the board against this Georgia Tech defense.
Yeah, you mentioned that Georgia Tech defense. Last season, they gave up an average of something about 400 yards per game. I think it was 300 yards per game, something about 24, 25 points per game. Not a lot of starters back, 2 starters back on the front 4. They have 2 rookie defensive ends, and they need to be able to put pressure on Chris Winkie to be able to disrupt that Florida State passing game. So that Georgia Tech defense, pretty suspect. Don't think that they're going to be able to stop Florida State in their own backyard.
The key to them is trying to make Florida State one-dimensional. If they can stop the run and key on the receivers, which we know how hard that is to do by itself, but to try to make Florida State one-dimensional is the key for any team. But no one has been able to do that. Tennessee maybe a little bit. They took away the pass and the run, in fact. But if Georgia Tech can do that, then it might be a close ball game. But if they cannot stop the run, if Florida State offensive linemen can get things going, it's going to be a long night for Georgia Tech.
Big key for Georgia Tech right there. Well, coming up next, we'll find out what the Noles think about stopping Yellow Jackets quarterback Joe Hamilton.
And News Channel 27's Ryan Young goes one-on-one with Florida State defensive back Mario Edwards. That's next on News Channel 27's Seminole Showdown.
Everybody would love to have this. The secret to my original recipe chicken. No mystery about it. It's finger-licking good with my 11 herbs and spices cooked up so moist and tender. It's 11 heaven.
And right now, get 10 pieces of the Colonel's original recipe chicken for just $8.99. Hurry to KFC.
At KFC, we do chicken right, because we got the secret. What you looking at?
Gerda?
No.
Gidget?
Nope.
Nanook? Pandora?
Nah.
Hunting slugs and snails with me.
Parenting. The next big thing from the McKinneys. LS. The next big thing from Saturn. Room for parents. Room for kids. Same dent-resistant doors.
Look at this. How much for the oven mitt?
39 cents.
How much for the boat?
39 cents.
How about the baby grand?
For you, 39 cents.
Right now, 39 cents is all you need to get the Taco Bell tacos you know and love. Crunchy tacos for just 39 cents every Sunday. And great tasting soft tacos for the low price of only 39 cents every Wednesday. Don't miss out.
Tacos in the bank, baby.
Tired of waiting for money from a structured settlement? Settlement Capital will buy your annuity, insurance benefit, lottery, or government farm payments, even your private mortgage, so you get your money fast to use for a car, education, business, or new home. Turn your annuity into cash you can use now. Call the people who've been buying and lending money on structured settlements longer than anyone. Settlement Capital. To learn more, call toll-free 1-800-959-0006.
The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets are trying to become just the second team to beat Florida State in Tallahassee in the 90s. The last time the Noles lost at home was 1991 against the Miami Hurricanes. But if Georgia Tech is going to pull off the upset, they're going to have to come up with a perfect game.
Play to play, and I think that's how you have to play it. And you know they have a wealth of talent down there, and they do a good job coaching them. And we'll have our hands full offensively, defensively, and special teams. So we're going to have our top game going in there and get some breaks with turnovers and things that you need to do that to upset a great team like that.
Sure, you look at these guys, you know, they haven't been lower than 4 in the past 10 years. And for instance, if I'm going to block somebody, I have to make sure I sustain my block to the end of that whistle, because if I let that guy go, there right now, he's got a DB speed on defensive line, but he can catch that guy from the back, you know, so just got to play hard till the whistle every down, and we got to keep our intensity level up. We can't just go on first drive and die out. We've got to keep it going and just leave it all on the field, and that means more this week than any other week I've ever played. Just leave it all on the field.
And one guy who's definitely going to have to leave it all on the field is Joe Hamilton, quarterback for Georgia Tech. Here's a guy who's played 3 games against Florida State but hasn't finished yet, has to have a big game tonight.
Started off hot last year. First quarter, got things going. What will he do this year? Who knows? One of Georgia Tech's most dangerous weapons is their quarterback. Joe Hamilton came into the season with his eyes on the Heisman. Last season, Hamilton put up some solid numbers. He threw for 2,166 yards and 17 touchdowns. He was also 4th on the team in rushing with 408 yards and 4 TDs. The Noles faced a drop-back pocket passer in Tim Rattay. This week, they have to deal with a more mobile guy in Joe Hamilton.
I think this is a game that we'd rather play. The fact that Joe's going to give us a little bit more time to get to him a little bit, but you know he's also a little quicker than Rattay is, so it's going to be a sight to see. We were pretty successful last year, putting some pressure on him and hitting him early, and you know hopefully we can do the same thing this year.
Yeah, he can hurt you running the ball, or he can hurt you throwing the ball, but he's so small, so that way when you rushing him and you trying to find him in the pocket, you may lose track of him because he is so small.
Anytime you can mix their type of talent with the experience that they have, you know, you look at a quarterback like Joe Hamilton, and then a receiver like Des White. You take that combination, and then with Joe Hamilton's ability to run the football, yeah, they've got a great football team.
Joe Hamilton, Joe Hamilton, Joe Hamilton. That's all we talk about. Against other teams, these All-American Heisman-type numbers. Florida State, though, different story. 3 years, he's thrown for 169 yards and only rushed for 18 yards. 3 losses. So what he can do against Florida State, who knows what's going to happen.
Right, well, he's going to need help from guys like Des White. You know, another guy people have talked about, Heisman Trophy, great receiver, you know, put us in great numbers last season, but then again against Florida State just hasn't been able to get it done. He's only had 2 catches and 27 yards in 2 years against Florida State. Now, Philip Rogers should be able to help the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets get the running game going. He had 80 yards last week against Navy. You talk about the Georgia Tech offense against Navy last week, 341 yards on the ground, 487 total yards. Didn't throw the ball a lot, so they could be holding back just a little bit for tonight's game. Well, we've heard from Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets head coach George O'Leary and some of his players about tonight's game. Now it's time to get Bobby Bowden's take on what he expects from this matchup.
Well, the record has improved, and the record speaks for itself. Last year they played in the Gator Bowl and played Notre Dame and beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame is one of the traditional powers, you know, so they ended up as a top 10 team. They go into this year as a top 10 team. What else can they do to show their success of their program? Their fullback, tailback, quarterback, tight end, the tight end. Probably won't be a whole lot of schools in the country better there than they are. I mean, their offensive line is really an outstanding offensive line. That's where it starts. Say we're not ourselves if there's a lot of points scored. You know, we're not ourselves. Last year they got 7, and now they're capable of getting 24 points. You know, so it's going to be a very physical game. They're going to test us physically first to see if we can stop their power, because they have a power attack. We don't have a power attack. They're going to see if we can handle their power, and then if we can hold that down in the option, then we can force them to throw in the football. We can do some things that would hurt them.
Time now to take a look at some of tonight's key matchups. Now, first of all, the Georgia Tech offensive line has to find a way to keep the pressure off of Joe Hamilton. The Yellow Jackets have 4 starters back from last season, including senior tackle John Carmen, who is a man mountain at 6'8", 335 pounds. The Georgia Tech secondary will have to contain Peter Warwick. 2 weeks ago against Louisiana Tech, Warwick had 9 catches for 121 yards and ran for a 20-yard touchdown. And finally, probably the most exciting matchup should be between Florida State defensive back Mario Edwards and Georgia Tech receiver Des White. White had just 1 catch, like we mentioned, for 9 yards against Florida State last season. Really looking forward to watching that matchup between Mario Edwards and Des White. Should be a lot of fun.
Talk about fun. Mario Edwards is just a fun guy. Des White's been talking a lot. Mario been talking a lot. They've been ready to go at it. I think it's going to be an exciting matchup between those two tonight. Well, Mario Edwards is one of the top cornerbacks in the country, and he will get a chance to prove it tonight against one of the best receivers around. News Channel 27's Ryan Young caught up with Mario to find out what number 15 plans to do to stop the Yellow Jackets' passing attack.
You know, Coach Andrews teaches us the challenge to release, the route, and then the ball. You know, so basically, I'll be doing those 3 things, but my first objective would be to stop his release. You know, and if he gets off the line, which I'm sure he will, challenge his route, but the play's still not over because I want the ball, you know.
Edwards bringing it back.
I'm trying to be physical with the wide receiver in terms of...
But Des White is a big guy. He's 210, 15 pounds, you know, so my whole approach would be I want to line up on him as close as possible, you know, and try to get a hand on him before the play even gets started, you know. But he's a big guy and physical, so I'm sure he's going to be swimming and whatnot. But that's where I challenge his route. You know, it's more to the game than just from the line of scrimmage. You know, and like I told you earlier, I want the ball, you know.
An open man on the scramble. Diving. Interception.
If you have a big wide receiver coming at you, and he's coming at you here, what are some of the things that you want to do to take that away from him?
Well, you see, that's why I stay this summer, baby, in that weight room for big guys like that. You know, he's a big guy, but I ain't a little guy myself, you know, so I'm going to line up on him and do my thing, you know, do what got me here so far.
And there's some trash talking going on.
Hold Des White to 1 catch last year. Now, if Des White steps to the line, he starts talking trash to you. What is Mario Edwards going to have for Des White?
Well, if he's talking trash, then that's right down my alley, you know. If he's talking trash, I'm going to be the garbage can for him. We're going to put the trash right in the garbage can, and that's what's going to happen to Des White.
So the swim moves are not going to work this weekend.
I mean, it may work, but I'm on his route. He may win the game at the line, but I'm on his route. And then, like I told you, eventually, I want the ball.
Now Florida.
So I can't live off of last year. I have to still put it down this year, and that's what I plan on doing.
That is definitely the key matchup for Florida State and Georgia Tech. If Des White gets gone, it could be a long night. But Mario Edwards shut him down last year, held him to one catch. So
I mean, I would love to be out on that field just to hear some of the trash talking that might be going on between the two of those guys. Should be a lot of fun to hear that. I mean, I don't know if we could be able to put it on TV. It might get a little heated. But anyway, coming up after the break, we'll head down to Andrews Bar and Grill to find out how the pep rally is going.
And we'll take a look at two of Florida State's talented freshmen. That's next on News Channel 27, Seminole Showdown.
Meet me where the summer's just around the bend. Meet me at the Dairy Queen, where the feeling never ends. Meet me at DQ.
Decisions. Do I get that combo of pecans, hot fudge, and caramel on the pecan mudslide treat? Or the layers of hot fudge, toasted almonds, and chocolate shell on the chocolate rock treat? They're both made with that famous DQ soft serve, and they're both just $1.99. Maybe I'll get both.
Come on to that feeling and meet me at DQ.
We'll admit we could have made the new full-size Toyota Tundra more like its competitors. We could have given it a less powerful engine, like the Dodge Ram. We could have given the Tundra two-piece frame rails, like the Ford F-150. We could have given it less stopping power, like the Chevy Silverado. But we decided to quit while we were ahead. The new Toyota Tundra with the iForce V8. Have we gone too far, or have others not gone far enough?
Man, are you psyched for two huge games at prime time? I can't wait for the tailgate. We're up to see UCLA, Ohio State, right? Go Ohio State! Well, wait a minute. What about going down south for Georgia Tech, Florida State? Two great games. What should we do? Let's get on the road!
Sunday, Barbara Walters goes one-on-one with Celine Dion, Elizabeth Taylor, and Liam Neeson. The Barbara Walters Special, ABC Sunday, 9/8 Central.
You know, with Alltel, you can get all your telecommunication services from one company.
Whoa, yeah! Multiple services, got to love it!
Yes, well, when you bundle Alltel services, you can also save money.
Bundled savings! Yeah, he's just the 50, he's at the 45, the 40, he's at the 35, the 30, he's at the 25, the 20, he could go all that way! And he's tackled at the 5. Time runs out on the clock.
Welcome back to Seminole Showdown. I'm Michael Grimes. We're live here at Andrews Grill and Bar. As you can see, there are a few Seminole fans left, but the crowd has thinned a bit. Everybody must be at the game right now. One fan who is here is Tim Simpkins, and Tim's going to join me right here. Tim, you're going to be watching the game here at Andrews
Yes,
tonight?
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
What do you have for in mind for the game? What's going to happen here?
Well, I think the Seminoles may start a little bit slow, but they're a lot stronger than Georgia Tech, and they are definitely going to prevail, and they're going to crush them. The Batman Superman runner has spoken.
A lot of people are saying Georgia Tech is going to challenge this year for the title. Do you think that's going to be the case?
No, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to have the staying power to go weekend after weekend and with their schedule like the Seminoles are going to be able to do. The Seminoles are just the most dominant team that we've got around.
I know you saw the game last week. What did you think of Peter Warwick's amazing run?
Fantastic, fantastic. It's a great thrill to watch that guy perform. He is awesome. He doesn't need a cape. He's great like he is.
Well, we will be back with Seth and Sean, and they'll have some predictions for you as well as myself. I will look into the crystal ball and maybe see what's going to happen tonight. Stay with us.
Everybody would love to have this. The secret to my original recipe chicken. No mystery about it. It's finger-licking good with my 11 herbs and spices cooked up so moist and tender. It's 11 heaven.
And right now, get 10 pieces of the Colonel's original recipe chicken for just $8.99. Hurry to KFC.
At KFC, we do chicken right, because we got the secret. What you looking at?
The Chamber of Commerce would like to recognize a few businesses supporting your community.
Give the gift of life. Donate blood at the Southeastern Community Blood Center. Tallahassee Single Day Surgery Center. Our caring staff and professional care singles us out. Edenbrook, Tallahassee's newest assisted living community with 24-hour staffing and individualized personal care.
The the Chamber thanks you for supporting these and all of our members.
The best taste for me is Pepsi when I'm cruising down the streets of the NYC. Me and my boys just shooting the breeze.
On the streets of LA, we sipping up Pepsi. To the effervescent joy, they only call it for me.
The joy of flavor,
The joy of fun,
the joy of vocal,
all on your tongue. The joy of
Y'all need a lift?
What about a ride, yo?
That's a fast, Butch. We noticed your bucket of bland chicken from the road. Try this from Popeyes. It's locked and loaded with Cajun flavor.
Tasty bird.
I'm sure they're gonna like it where you ladies are going.
Start the car.
Now at Popeyes, get 2 pieces of chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for only $1.99 or 15 pieces for only $10.99.
Time now to take a look at the key stats for tonight's game between Florida State and Georgia Tech. First off, after a solid performance against Louisiana Tech, Chris Weinke shouldn't have to deal with any more questions about his health or his confidence. Weinke went 20 for 32 with 2 touchdowns. How much does Joe Hamilton rely on Des White? Last season, White hauled in 46 catches. The next guy on the team had just 21 receptions all season long. And if the Yellow Jackets want to pull off the upset, they have to limit the turnovers. Last season against the Noles, Georgia Tech fumbled 6 times and lost 3 of them. Joe Hamilton also threw an interception. Well, the last place you would expect to see a Florida State true freshman is on the field. But the Noles have managed to find a couple of guys who have beaten the odds. Nick Maddox and Anquan Bolden are not having a hard time fitting in on the field. Here's more on 2 of Florida State's young guns.
Off the field, Anquan Bolden and Nick Maddox look like 2 ordinary freshmen getting adjusted to college life.
But as 80,000 fans saw on this field last Saturday night against Louisiana Tech, these 2 freshmen are far from ordinary. Bolden scored 2 touchdowns, and Maddox is now the second-team tailback.
I really don't feel like a freshman. My mom used to tell me when I was little that I used to do things that made me mature a little bit faster.
Well, we wanted to come in and make an early impact, but we just didn't know how soon it would be. But with the injuries and things like that, you know, it was much sooner than we hoped it would be.
Since they've been in Tallahassee, Bolden and Maddox have not only spent time together on the field, but as roommates, they've become very familiar with one another.
He's a great roommate, you know. Basically, we're like brothers, you know, away from home. You know, we look out for one another. You know, if he have any problems or if I have any problems, we talk to each other.
He's a very clean type person, you know. His side of the room is always clean, so it makes me keep my side of the room clean. So, you know, we always have something to talk about, whether it be football or whether it be social life or classes. You know, he's a real neat guy to be around.
Although their FSU careers are only a few weeks old, these 2 expect a lot from themselves in years to come.
4 years from now, I plan on graduating. You know, right now I'm on the pace of graduating in about 3.5 years with a double major.
You know, down the line, I just want to be one of the players that help the team out, you know, possibly go undefeated and win a national championship.
Well, now it's time to offer up our predictions for tonight's game. I won last. We both picked Florida State last week,
Right.
of course, but I was a little closer, so I won. I'm going to let you go first this week.
Okay, well, yeah, last week or 2 weeks ago, I gave Florida State's offense, I think, a little too much credit. I said they'd ring up something like 63 points. This week, I think they're going to have their way with the Georgia Tech defense, but it'll take them a little while to get going. I'm saying 31-10, Florida State. I just don't think Georgia Tech's defense is going to be up to the task of shutting down Florida State's offense now that they have Lavernius Coles back, Ron Dugan is back in the lineup, Peter Warrick. Just don't see it happening for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I ditto that, what you say there. I'm just going to be a little more aggressive on the pick. I'm going to say Florida State's going to score 41 points, and Georgia Tech's only going to score 10. I don't think they can compete against Florida State's defense. They haven't shown it in years past. All these teams always come in here thinking that they can do it, and I just don't see Georgia Tech doing it. They're going to shut down Hamilton. Mario Edwards is going to shut down Des White, and it's just not going to be. It's going to be a long night for Georgia Tech coming up in here in just a couple minutes.
Yeah, I think I'm a little more gun-shy because of my prediction 2 weeks ago. I'm just not willing to go out on a limb. So there you have Seth Grossman stepping up, saying what's going to happen. I'm saying 31-10. So, all righty. Well, coming up after the break, we'll head down to Andrews for some final thoughts from Michael Grimes. That's coming up next on News Channel 27, Seminole Showdown.
At Oakwood Homes, we've just lowered our fixed rate to 6.99%. How can we do that? Because Oakwood literally owns the bay. which means we can set our own rates, like a fixed rate as low as 6.99. That could save you up to $200 a month, or if you prefer, down payment plans as low as $4.99. We're offering the best fixed rate in our history, so call 1-800-299-HOME right now for your local sales center and lock in today before rates go up.
Could the year 2000 date change affect my deposit insurance coverage?
No. Deposits at your credit union will continue to be protected up to $100,000 by federal deposit insurance.
What if the year 2000 date change causes an error in my account?
We are required to keep backup records for account transactions so we can recover this information in case of an emergency. These records could then be used to correct errors that might occur due to the Y2K problem.
Your local credit unions are Y2K OK.
The Chamber of Commerce would like to recognize a few businesses supporting your community.
When it's the taste of a great cup of coffee you're looking for, come to Barney's Coffee in Governor Square Mall. Farrell Realty Plus, a customer service-oriented realtor firmly committed in satisfying the customer's needs. Certified financial planners. Don't choose any financial planner, choose a CFP practitioner. Call today.
The Chamber thanks you for supporting these and all of our members.
Ponder this. What makes Chili's awesome blossom so awesome? It is chopped, battered, and the rest is top secret because only Chili's has mastered the art of the onion.
What's that your business? I love children. Give me a break, madam.
Judge Judy Justice. Monday on News Channel 27.
Welcome back to Seminole Showdown. I'm Michael Grimes, and we're back here live at Andrews. Now, Seth and Sean have given their predictions. Now I'm going to get out my crystal ball and tell you what's going to happen. I think the Seminoles are really defensively are going to stop Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's defense doesn't have enough to stop the offensive firepower of Chris Winkie and Peter Warwick. So I'm going to say the Noles are going to win 34-17. A little bit more conservative than Seth and Sean, but I think the Noles are really going to do it tonight. Peter Warwick, expect another outstanding game for the Heisman Trophy candidate. And I think Travis Minor is going to have a pretty big game tonight at running the ball. I think the Noles really need to step up their running game as they prepare for the games down the road, Florida and Miami. So thank you for joining us at Seminole Showdown. We are going to keep it here. News Channel 27. The game will be next, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Thanks for joining us. That was horrible.
Everybody would love to have this. The secret to my original recipe chicken. No mystery about it. It's finger-licking good with my 11 herbs and spices cooked up so moist and tender. It's 11 heaven.
And right now, get 10 pieces of the Colonel's original recipe chicken for just $8.99. Hurry to KFC.
At KFC, we do chicken right, because we got the secret. What you looking at?
It must rain 9 to 10 inches for every Laura Ashley peony to bloom. It must be perpetually misty for hedgerows to turn true green. It must be cloudy and damp for a garden rose to flourish. Aren't you glad you don't have to live in England to enjoy the countryside? Laura Ashley Home, now only as far away as Lowe's.
Look at this.
How much for the oven mitt?
39 cents. How much for the boat? 39 cents. How about the baby grand? For you, 39 cents.
Right now, 39 cents is all you need to get the Taco Bell tacos you know and love. Crunchy tacos for just 39 cents every Sunday. And great tasting soft tacos for the low price of only 39 cents every Wednesday. Don't miss out.
Tacos in the bank, baby.
This
This is ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series and the National Championship game.
Georgia Tech and Florida State have both won national championships this decade. And the Yellow Jackets and the Seminoles shared the ACC crown just a year ago. Tonight, the Seminoles are ready for war. Heisman candidate Joe Hamilton is a strong-arm quarterback with Houdini-like escapes. He knows the road to the national championship goes through Tallahassee. Florida State's Peter Warrick has his own magical qualities, and he wants it all. The national title, the Heisman Trophy, and it starts tonight with a win in the war against Georgia Tech. This is one of the greatest scenes in college football. Doak Campbell Stadium, where Florida State has won 41 straight games. 80,000 plus, sold out, prime time for the showdown after sundown in Tallahassee. And hi, everybody. I'm Tim Brand along with Dean Blevins. Glad to have you along for what should be a terrific matchup. We have tonight two of the best players in college football. For Florida State, of course, it's Peter Warrick, Joe Hamilton for Georgia Tech. But Dean, Joe Hamilton has played Florida State 3 times. He has yet to finish a game. This is his last chance.
Well, Tim, Joe is looking for respect from Florida State. He's got it from the rest of the conference, but not from Florida State. And one of the reasons, in the 3 losses you brought up, he has averaged 62 yards total offense in each of those games. He'll have to be on his game tonight. He's a multiple threat. He can throw it. He can run option. He can scramble. He'll need to do all 3 tonight.
Now, Peter Warrick is like Baryshnikov in cleats. He is special.
Well, he's the most talented of an immensely talented Florida State roster, one that has up to 25 potential NFL players. Bobby Bowden, by the way, tells us that he's going to let it all hang out tonight offensively, so it should be fun.
We are just about set. Number 1, number 10. Kickoff is coming up next.
When Americans take to the road, they generally take stuff.
So we have the stroller, which has to be in the car at all times.
Transports my bike and anybody else that wants to go.
That's why Americans are switching to Chevy Malibu.
Powerful, roomy, comfortable.
Malibu offers a V6 and still costs over $3,000 less than Camry and Accord.
We're very happy we bought the Malibu.
The car you knew America could build. Malibu.
Step into a new Malibu and get 0% APR financing up to 36 months or $1,500 cash back. See your local Chevrolet dealer today.
Hey, boys, I'm lost. I'm looking for Franklin Street exit. I'm going around for an hour. Come on.
Want more power? Try Valvoline SynPower Complete Fuel System Treatment. Cleans your entire fuel system with advanced synthetic technology.
3 years ago, my IT guys told me there'd be 2 kinds of businesses. Those with a vision to master the internet, and those without. And we didn't want to be the second kind. So we called Dell. Dell came to see us and showed us how to use the internet for direct relationships with our customers, suppliers, everyone who's a part of our business. With Dell support, there's no limit to where we can go. We always knew we needed the internet. We just didn't know how badly.
Be direct. Dell. Dell servers use Intel Pentium 3 processors.
Emerald Club members get this free officially licensed NFL sports bag with your first rental from National in September.
Nice game, Bear.
If you're not a member, join for half price.
Good game, Bear.
And still get this NFL sports bag free. It's perfect for all the important things a player needs to carry.
Nice bear, Mr. Bear.
Emerald Club members get this free NFL sports bag in September and rent twice for 2 days or longer and get a certificate for another day free. The more you rent, the more you earn. National Car Rental, the official car rental company of the NFL. Teddy bear not included.
Just moments ago, Chief Osceola set the stage and threw the battle lines. Georgia Tech has not suffered a loss since playing the Noles a year ago, and the Jackets are a confident bunch. Right now, Jack Arute is with head coach George O'Leary.
Coach George O'Leary, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, 80,000 people chanting the Seminole chant, doing the tomahawk chop. How do you get ready for this kind of a hostile environment?
Yeah, we went to the Braves game. That's simple as that. It's the same thing, and we just got to play well tonight.
Guys, he's ready, and so's the team.
And we're just about set here. 80,000 plus. have come to Doak Campbell. Georgia Tech won the toss. Georgia Tech will receive the opening kick. Sebastian Janikowski right there, the biggest kicker in the country, will kick off. Des White and Joe Burns are deep for Georgia Tech. The way he kicks it, I doubt they'll have a chance to return it, but we'll see. This is fun.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Georgia Tech does the first time it gets the ball. Last year against this club, they go 80 yards in 18 plays and had a flawless start that they're calling the drive around here.
We're underway. It is a long kick that will go all the way to the midpoint of the end zone. Joe Burns will down it there. So they'll bring it out to the 20. And we'll get our first look at Joe Hamilton, the quarterback for Georgia Tech, the Heisman Trophy candidate. In the win last week against Navy, he was 12 for 17, 139 yards and 2 touchdowns. Offensive coordinator Ralph Friedgen says some of the best passes Joe throws are incompletions. He does not make many mistakes.
No, he doesn't. And tonight is a night if you make a mistake, you pay for it dearly.
Des White comes to the bottom of the screen on first down and 10 from the 20. Wilder in motion. And there's motion on the offense. They'll throw flags. Rather inauspicious way to start a big ball game like this.
Well, you know, you can talk to your kids about the crowd not being a factor, but it's another thing when you get out here. And there are some young kids out there. This is a veteran offensive group. But
prior to the snap, false start.
It's easier said than done.
Offense, that's 5 yards. It remains first down.
Look at our referee tonight, Jack Childress. He's the CEO of a textile company, been a referee for 25 years. And 2 of those years, the last 2, have been right here in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Nice job he does.
10 yards is hard to gain against these guys. 15 is very difficult.
Well, you don't want to put yourself in a hole against the #1 team in the nation. First and 15 now. The option outside. They've got room. This is Rogers. And Rogers out across the 30-yard line. First down, Georgia Tech. Knocked out of bounds there by Tay Cody. The Chili starting lineup, Georgia Tech's offensive line is the most experienced part of their club. It averages over 300 pounds. Jason Burks is all-conference. At wide receiver, we talked about Des White. He is Joe Hamilton's favorite target. And in the backfield, Hamilton, of course, is the guy. It all revolves around him. Wilder is a time-tested veteran. We'll see Burns and Rogers at tailback.
Audible by Hamilton.
On first down, he's going to throw the quick hitch. Has a man wide open. It's Watkins down the sideline across midfield and knocked out of bounds inside the 45. The defense for Florida State, a dominating front led by Corey Simon and Jerry Johnson in the middle. Reynolds and Seymour are the ends. The Noles' biggest question mark would have to be at linebacker. Tommy Pauly is the only returning starter from a year ago. The secondary is flat out terrific. All-American candidate Tay Cody and Mario Edwards at the corners, a very talented pair of safeties. There he is, a look at Corey Simon, All-American. 6'2", 275 pounds of speed. Watkins picked up 26. It's first down, Yellow Jackets. Hamilton on the keeper, inside the 40. Tackled there by Sean Key. Dean, take a look at the Dell Game Solutions.
Well, Georgia Tech offensively, and this is per Ralph Friedgen, their offensive coordinator, says he's got to keep Hamilton healthy. No question, they haven't done that before, and they've got to keep this game to the 4th quarter. They've done a nice job getting it to the 3rd, and here's the coach right there, but getting it to the 4th is where they want to get tonight.
Here's a look at Ralph Friedgen. Played at the University of Maryland, was an offensive coordinator for Bobby Ross in the NFL in San Diego. Outstanding football mind. Play action. Wide open again. It's the tight end, Andrew Jeske, and another first down for Georgia Tech. So just like last year, Georgia Tech is moving the ball effectively. There is a flag on the play. How about this, Dean?
Well, Joe Hamilton gives them the opportunity to run a lot of different formations and sets. We're seeing that here. It's a perfectly executed offensive series, just like the one a year ago. You've seen option. You've seen an audible. You also saw busted coverage on that audible by an outstanding player in cornerback Mario Edwards.
First down and 10 for Tech. Again, there's motion. And Hamilton is hit hard. how many times can he offer his body up like that?
Well, I think that's a big question mark tonight. Here are the Dell game solutions for Florida State defensively. Mickey Andrews. These are really what they have for the season they apply tonight. Hold Tech under 15 points, score defensively or set up a score, and they want to force 7 punts and create 3 turnovers. And this bunch does it more times than not.
Look at Mickey Andrews, the best defensive coordinator in the country. And he's coached a lot of great ones. Terrell Buckley, Deion Sanders, not to mention Bo Ware and all those ends.
He's the best, but it helps to have all those hosses back there.
2nd down and 9. Again, the option. Dangerous pitch and a big loss. Hit almost immediately by Roland Seymour. So George O'Leary's offense loses 6 yards.
Ground level look at option right. Hamilton gets Seymour in the backfield, 56. It's a busted assignment. You know, the option is a great equalizer, but you can't bust assignments on either side of the ball. That time the offense did, and they paid for it.
Florida State likes to get 8 guys in the box and tell the secondary to play a lot of bump and run. We'll see what happens here on 3rd down and about 15. Again, the option. The pitch outside. Great block on the corner. Rogers picks up a lot of yardage, but does not get the first.
Well, in that situation, they don't go 8 in the box, but they get a soft corner. Georgia Tech thinks they might be able to bust the play for the 1st down, but I think what they're doing there is making sure that they get a good opportunity at 3 points. They want to take the lead in this game.
So they needed 15, and they picked up 10.
I like the strategy. If you pass it incomplete, you're 40-yard kicking.
Kai Cornwell comes on to try to put the first points on the board. Pretty strong from this distance. This is from 40 yards. It's going to be long enough, but it's wide right. No good. So Georgia Tech has an impressive drive, but comes away with no points. 11:27 to play in the first quarter.
Long ago, an inventor came up with the assembly line, allowing a few people to make a lot of something. It was the model for efficiency. At Chili's, we pride ourselves for our inefficiency, because we make each of the Big Mouth burgers by hand, grilled one at a time by a person. And when you taste for yourself how good they are, you'll appreciate all the time we've wasted. Chili's fresh grilled Big Mouth burgers, monuments of inefficiency.
The journey is rough, the Sahara is treacherous, and the destination exotic. Under the Atlas Mountains lies a magical oasis with 900 years of history and the original version of Gridlock. If the agile and durable all-new Chevy Tracker can handle this, any traffic jam will be a cinch. If you know where the Tracker is, you could win it. For more Tracker information or to enter, click here. The all-new Chevy Tracker. It gets around.
Where will you be when your children find their life's passion? Your dreams change. So have we. Now Dean Witter and Morgan Stanley have joined to provide a world of investment advice on a personal level. The world will change, but at Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, we will always measure success, one investor at a time.
The season begins with a shock.
Stand by, fellas. We've hit a snag.
And he's been replaced by this guy. Discover Dharma and Greg. See you Tuesday, September 21st on ABC.
A look at head coach Bobby Bowden. His accomplishments are sensational. 293 wins. His club has finished in the top 4 12 consecutive seasons. First down, Florida State. First offensive series for the Noles. Nike to throw. Tucks it, now throws it away. Chris Weinke had a streak of 237 passes without an interception until the Louisiana Tech game. Now he has just one, but everybody remembers the 6 picks he threw last year against NC State in the loss to the Wolfpack. He did not throw another one that entire regular season. Second down and 10. Boy, he is a big guy. 6'5", 240 pounds. This pass is complete. It's to Lavernius Coles to the 29. The Chili starting lineup for Florida State. The entire offensive line is back from last year's title game, led by All-American Jason Whitaker and massive tackle Ross Brannon. Now at wide receiver, they're loaded. Speed everywhere. Peter Warrick is everybody's favorite. Lavernius Coles is back. In the backfield, 27-year-old Chris Wenke we talked about. He could be the key to this game. Travis Minor is looking for a breakout game, and Dan Kendra gets his first start at fullback. The reason for that, William McCray, he had surgery Thursday. He is out for the rest of the year. Broke his leg. There is a flag down after that completion.
3 new starters tonight. You mentioned Kendra, and Sprague is in for Franklin, who's out with that knee, and Lavernius Coles back from suspension. They have a slew of wide receivers, but Chris Wenke told us yesterday that he loves Lavernius Coles.
Georgia Tech had 12 men on the field. Sometimes that's the best way to defend Florida State.
No wonder they rushed so well the play before.
Here's Jack Childress. He'll straighten us out.
Illegal participation.
We were at practice the other day, and Florida State was running a defense where they had 13 guys out there.
So that'll be a first down for the Seminoles. And again, you don't want to make it easy for the #1 team in the nation. George O'Leary not happy about that. Somebody not paying attention. Out of the shotgun. They will go to hurry-up offensive line. Into the flats they go. And again, it's a very dangerous receiver. That's Peter Warrick, the Heisman Trophy candidate. Tackle made by Edwards. For Georgia Tech defensively, Kreisen and Watson are back in the middle. They're solid. Clay Brooks is an excellent pass rusher. Greg Gathers was playing high school ball 9 months ago. How do you think he feels tonight? 3 good linebackers. Rogers and Edwards are really active. Wimbush is a true freshman as well. And in the secondary, Tavares Tillman is the leader. He is Tech's top defensive player, but they'll play a freshman there as well, Selden Scott. So they've got 3 true freshmen who will get a lot of playing time tonight. And that secondary will get a workout. Straight ahead they go. This is Minor. Big hole up to midfield, and a first down Florida State.
Minor's a big game back. I think that Bobby Bowden and Mark Richt, his offensive coordinator, challenged that offensive line as they go no huddle here to try to run the ball more effectively and be more physical this week.
Well, Florida State likes to set the tempo of the game as well, and this helps do that.
Kentucky Derby offense.
Again, the pitch back. This is Minor. Gets a block on the corner. Hurdles the tackle and goes into the 45-yard line. It'll be marked at the 43.
You know, I say Kentucky Derby. That's when they bring the second unit out and they try to get a fatigue factor working. They're just going no huddle here with the first.
Lavernius Cole at the bottom of the screen. Getting the call from Wenke. Second down and 4. There he is again. Oh, look at the blocking. Inside the 40 to the 35-yard line goes Travis Minor. We talked about him having a breakout game tonight. He was one of the most talented and heralded recruits ever out of high school.
All right, let's take a look at Dan Kendra, number 10. Gets a little block. Actually, he gets a nice block there. Gets a part of 2 defenders. It's interesting seeing a quarterback down in a stance as a fullback.
Again, out of the shotgun. Wenke in trouble. Throws underneath, incomplete. Threw that one away. It was intended for Peter Warrick. And we'll count the number of times Warrick has his hands on the football tonight.
Last week he got 13 touches. He got 3 reverses and got some punts and some balls thrown to him. They will make sure that he gets the football in his hands around 15 times tonight.
You are looking at the projected #1 pick in the NFL draft. He combines speed of Randy Moss and the strength of a David Boston. He is just terrific. He's at the top of the screen. Second down and 10. Looking for Coles. Goes toward Coles, and it's almost picked off. Oh, my. Tavares Tillman almost had the pick. Right now, let's go back to New York and find out what's happening in Columbus, Ohio.
Well, it's a win-your-way Burger King update. UCLA and Ohio State. Drew Bennett is looking for Freddie Mitchell here. See if you can follow the ball. It's tipped once, twice, 3, 4 times. Where is it? Well, it's found by Matt Stanley, and he runs the rest of the way 67 yards for the touchdown. 7-0. Tim.
Stanley is from Columbus, Ohio. Went to school at UCLA. He had to get 30 tickets for this ball game. Meanwhile, Georgia Tech gets a sack and takes Florida State all the way back to the 45-yard line. Nick Rogers with the big play. It's a loss of 11.
All right, we'll watch the pursuit from Georgia Tech. And Nick Rogers is a fast player. He is really talented, 38. His brother Philip Rogers starts on offense. Big play, forces the Seminoles to punt. Well, if you're Georgia Tech, you have to look for the fake because the ball's in their territory, but you suspect he'll try to pooch it. This is a long kick, and this will go into the end zone. So it'll be a touchback, and they'll bring it out to the 20. 46-yard punt. Did not accomplish exactly what Florida State wanted, but we're still scoreless with 8:09 to play first quarter.
At Burger King, we're always trying to make have it your way better. Like this idea for a win your way college football game.
2 more tries!
Run back a kickoff and win great prizes. Then we thought, why not just scratch and win? This week, Penn State and Miami face off, and you could win $1 million, a Toyota RAV4, or the best tasting prize of all, a delicious Whopper. Burger King. When you have it your way, it just tastes better.
Don't get me started on stockbrokers. I had one for the better part of 10 years. Let me tell you something. The only one who was broker was me. With Ameritrade, it's so simple. I sit down at my computer, a couple of clicks, and I can see for myself. $8 a trade. My stockbroker said you're going to hate online trading. You can add that to the long list of things he was wrong about.
Call toll-free 888-763-0088 or visit Ameritrade.com. Ameritrade, the way to trade, period.
Remember when all you needed was you? A buddy? And an open road? We do. Meet the new Chevy Impala. Designed, engineered, and built to be the most carefree car on the road.
Let's go for a drive.
Tim, I've got to think that George O'Leary really likes the way this game has gone to begin with. Offensively, his team overcame a penalty. They moved the ball down. They get a 40-yard chip shot. They miss that. Defensively, though, they come back and stop Florida State. It's 0-0, but that's not bad for a team that comes in an 18-point underdog. Joe Burns checks into the ball game. He's 5'11", 205-pounder. He was the Yellow Jackets' leading rusher last year with 500 yards. This is play action. Hamilton on the run and throws it. Actually threw it away. Coverage there was pretty good. So it'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Now keep in mind, the last 6 games, if you look at this, Georgia Tech has outscored Florida State in the first quarter. But because of the lack of depth, or the depth that Florida State has, look what has happened in the last 3 quarters of those games. It has just been all Seminoles. That is an amazing statistic. Just over 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. 2nd down and 10, and straight ahead they go. This is Wilder. Let's go downstairs. Here's Jack Arute.
You want to know how much respect that the Florida State defense has for Joe Hamilton? They recruited 3 players, Blake Harden, Steve Maher, and Rufus Brown, to imitate Hamilton on the scout team. How much respect do those 3 players have for the Florida State defense? For one defense, knocked them all out with injuries.
Good note, Jack. You know, that follows up what we said earlier about Joe Hamilton. This is something that has haunted Joe Hamilton. He has not finished a game yet against Florida State in 3 tries. This is 3rd down and 8. A big play for Hamilton here. He's got protection across the middle. They're not going to have enough for the first down. It was complete to Joe Burns. He's out to the 28, but they had to get to the 30. So once again, the defense of Florida State stops Georgia Tech. Dan Dyke comes on to punt for the Yellow Jackets. And Peter Warwick is standing at the 32nd, at the 32-yard line. This punt will hit the ground, and it gets a Yellow Jacket roll inside the 30, down to the 26-yard line. So with 6:37 to play in the first quarter, we're still scoreless. Florida State will have the ball when we come back.
Conquer conquer the Sahara, and you'll come to a famous market. You can hear the Berber drums, stop and smell the saffron, or buy a magic spell. And if the agile and durable all-new Chevy Tracker can handle the crowds of this imperial city, parking at the mall will be no sweat. If you know where the Tracker is, you could win it. For more Tracker information or to enter, click here. The all-new Chevy Tracker. It gets around.
State Farm presents Rules of the Game.
Today we're talking about sportsmanship. In this play, the player who scores a touchdown takes a curtain call by taking a bow. What's the penalty and where do we assess it?
I'm grateful that Michael Garcia is in our lives.
State Farm, Mike Garcia speaking.
We had a house fire, house burned.
That was a tough day.
They didn't treat us as a policyholder, they treated us as a neighbor, as a friend.
I gave him a check right away. We went from there to putting the pieces back together.
He's not a hero in the sense of a sports hero or a movie star. He's a quiet hero.
He looks out for everyone in the neighborhood.
It's gone from being a slogan to really being my way of life.
Today we're talking about sportsmanship. In this play, a player takes a curtain call. 15-yard penalty to be assessed on the PAT.
Rules of the Game has been brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You'll find a place 'cause you're downtown. Good Morning America's moving to Times Square Monday.
ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by the all-new Chevy Tracker. It gets around. By Ameritrade, the way to trade, period. Chili's, a proud sponsor of ABC College Football. And National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. 6:35 to play in the first quarter. We're still scoreless in Tallahassee. 80,000 fans here at Doak Campbell tonight. Here's the reverse to work. And nobody's fooled. As a matter of fact, they lose 5. Felipe Claybrooks made an outstanding defensive play to stop work.
Well, containment is really important against Florida State. They bring reverses at you the way most people just give handoffs up the middle. I mean, they're just commonplace.
Boy, Claybrooks is a vocal, animated guy. Probably the best pass rusher they have. Was third in the ACC with 10 sacks, playing mostly in passing situations last year. He's from Decatur, Georgia. 6'4", 255-pounder. Second down and 16 for Wenke. Plenty of time. Looks deep. Intended for Coles. Picked off. Was he inbounds? Tavares Tillman made the pick, but was he inbounds? Boy, I don't know. They say he was out. Holy cow.
All right, this is from behind Wenke. Throws it deep to his consistent receiver. Questionable right there. Could have been pass interference. 1 foot down. Whoa. Very close. Couldn't tell definitively from that angle.
I'll tell you, partner, I thought he made the pick, but I thought there was pass interference.
Yeah, a little of both.
Take a look at Wenke. A little bit of concern on his face. He's only thrown 1 pick in the last, well, he had that streak of 237 passes without an interception. So on third down and long, he goes across the middle. Here he is. Peter Rourke at the 45. Baryshnikov and cleats across midfield. Picks up a blocker. Has Coles throw a block for him. To the 25, down to the 21-yard line, and finally stopped by Tavares Tillman. A gain of 59 yards.
This guy was a high school quarterback. He's the best wide receiver. He's probably their best runner as well. Wenke had only completed 1 before this. Crossing route, perfectly thrown, and then this guy turns into a runner. Look at the moves. It's similar to the reverse that he ran for the touchdown last week. That was a highlight reel movie.
Most dangerous after the catch. Here's Minor. Nothing. Maybe 1. Good play by Chris Edwards and Damara Clark to make the stop. A look at Peter Warrick. He is just terrific. 6 foot, 195-pounder from Bradenton, Florida. Here's Minor. Gets a couple more. Clay Brooks makes the tackle. Tim Brandt and Dean Blevins with you. 80,000 plus at Doak Campbell tonight. What a great scene this is. Number 1 versus number 10. We're scoreless. 4:33 to play in the first quarter. Jack Arute on the sidelines doing what he does best. This is fun. They love their football here in Tallahassee. Absolutely. Wanky comes out as a wide receiver at the bottom of the screen. This is Warrick at quarterback with the draw. Touchdown, Florida State. Well, they're opening up the playbook like Bobby Bowden said. He does it all. A 17-yard touchdown run.
This has got to scare you if you've got this viewpoint. If you're Georgia Tech, you go, well, something's wrong here. You know, Winky's out there. Warrick, what's he going to do? Well, it's too late now. Quarterback draw. A Warrick draw is what it is. And that wasn't even close. Terrific play call. So Janikowski comes on for the extra point. He splits the sticks. And it's 7-0 Noles. How about that? This is the real speed of Peter Warrick right here. He actually stumbles a little there, but one of the 4 or 5 best players that Bobby Bowden says he has ever coached. And speaking of Bobby Bowden, Warrick calls him Coach Bobby. He says he's like a father figure to him because he lost his father as a child. Great story, and of course him coming back was something that the Seminoles didn't really expect, but they're thoroughly enjoying right now. He is special. He torched the defense last year with 11 touchdowns, 61 receptions, and over 1,232 receiving yards. A reminder coming up next Saturday. Some of you will see 24th ranked NC State battle the number 1 team in the nation, Florida State. Peter Warrick and the Seminoles seek revenge. We all know what happened last year in Raleigh. 6 interceptions. NC State upset Florida State. A lot of you will see Ohio and Ohio State. We'll be in Boulder, Colorado for Kansas and Colorado. That's all on ABC Sports at 3:30 Eastern Time. How big that interception that was called off now becomes. Tillman had the pick, but they said he was out of bounds and gave the ball back to Florida State. Yeah, so it goes from very good field position for Georgia Tech and slowing down the Seminoles to 7 points for that guy, Peter Warrick, and the Noles.
He may not be Superman, but he knows where the phone booth is. Sebastian Janikowski kicks off. All the way to the back of the end zone. Joe Burns will down it there, and they'll bring it out to the 20. What do you think, Dino? Heisman-type numbers?
Well, absolutely. You know, I look at him and I say, wide receiver, I don't know that he'll get enough touches to be able to win it. Quarterbacks get it these days, or maybe a running back who gets it a lot. But like we said earlier, he's going to get enough touches. And the thing about it, when he gets them, he makes the most of it.
So many good players in the hunt right now. We saw Drew Brees today beat Notre Dame.
Right.
Or Ron Dane have a big day. We'll see what Joe Hamilton can do here. There he is. Throws deep, has a receiver. Wide open. It's White. To the 20. Foot race to the 10. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. There is a flag. Flag down on the play. 80-yard touchdown reception by Des White. But we'll have to wait and see what the flag is.
The flag was thrown very late. The play was half over when the flag was thrown back toward the line of scrimmage.
Actually, the flag
by the defense. That penalty is refused. Touchdown.
Yeah. Well, big plays, big days, and Georgia Tech comes up with one here. Hamilton to White for the 80-yard touchdown.
Well, what happens is when you have an 8-man front, you have a lot of one-on-one. Right there, you get burned. And this time, off to the races, you see Gibson beaten there, number 6, as he had man for man, and he lost Des White. One of the things we said is Des White had to make big plays.
Cornwell's extra point attempted. We're tied at 7.
Georgia Tech's slugging it out with these guys. .353 to play in the first quarter.
And so far, this game is all it was built up to be.
The last 4 times Florida State has been beaten, it's been a wide receiver making a big play. There you see right down there, the guy we're talking about, 22. Dez White has all the potential in the world. A great character kid. Not really a natural receiver. He's had to work at it, but he has done it. He came in as a high school star, and his hands weren't that good. But they've become pretty good right now, and he knows what to do with it after he catches it as well.
Well, last year, 5 of his 9 touchdowns went for 50 yards or more. I mean, he's a big play guy. He was 3rd last year in the ACC behind only Holt and Warwick. Look at this.
And those are the stats that I just mentioned. You have Hilliard in the bowl game, and then Green, Holt, and Price. Price last year's Fiesta Bowl, where he had 199 yards and a touchdown.
Folks, we have had 2 touchdowns in the last 19 seconds. We still have 3:53 to play in the first quarter. We're tied at 7. Philip Newman to kick off for Georgia Tech. Jermaine Stringer now comes in as a return guy along with Lavernius Coles. Florida State will play a lot of folks. They have athletes. This is Coles. He's dangerous. Breaks a tackle, but great coverage by Georgia Tech. And he's taken down at the 18-yard line. Hey, folks, Tuesday, September 21st, Mike meets his match when Heather Locklear joins Spin City in the season premiere, plus a really angry Yankee star, Roger Clemens. We'll see you Tuesday, September 21st, season premiere of Spin City. Steve Levin's favorite program.
Yeah, it may become that. Roger Clemens, by the way, has not had the year that the Yankees had hoped. But the Yankees aren't doing too badly.
See where Warwick lines up this time. There are the numbers on Wenke. 2 of 6, 61 yards. Minor the lone setback. They've got 3 receivers to the bottom of the screen. And this is Warwick. Gets a block in the corner. To the 20. Breaks 2 tackles. Still alive. Ends up losing 2 yards.
Got a game tackling. That's what they did that time.
Nice play by Felipe Claybrooks to take him down. Here's the Dell Game solution for Florida State's offense.
Mark Richt says score 28 points. We do that and we'll win. And we also want to have 450 yards total offense. Right now, Georgia Tech's defense played pretty well. I don't know if they're going to get to those numbers.
Well, one of the big things Mark Richt wanted was 2nd down and short. He's not getting it. Out again to Wenke. Wenke at the flanker spot, throws it back to Warwick. Peter Warwick looking for room, now picks up some blockers. He's loose to the 30, to the 35, first down Florida State. It's the 2nd time we've seen that formation where Warwick goes to quarterback and Wenke goes to wide receiver.
Hey, tell me another program that's going to run a play like that back on its own 15 or 20-yard line. You just don't see it. If you love offense and you love a little diversity, you've got to love Florida State. Back that's eligible because the first one was thrown backwards. And there's another touch.
Gain of 20, first down and 10. Now Warwick goes under center. Keep in mind, the fullback is Dan Kendra. He can throw a pass as well. He came in here as a quarterback, as everybody knows.
Wenke confused, yeah.
Play clock down to 4, so he calls timeout to avoid the delay of game penalty. Hey, Jack, what do you have down there? As you you know, different plays. They call Green 86. You want to know the name of that double pass?
Yeah, what is it?
Warwick pass. Simpler than that.
Well, whatever it's called, and Peter Warwick's down.
Yeah, we've got a problem now. Peter Warwick, and they think maybe it's a hamstring or cramps is the initial word we get here. You know, when we talked to Chris Wenke, we asked him how often and why and when do you go to Peter Warwick?
That guy knows how to get the job done. He's going to find a way. If you need 5 yards to get 6 yards, if you need 6 to get 7. So if you need that long touchdown, he's going to find a way to get the job done. So there's a reason he came back here. He wants to show the people around the country he's the best player in the country. Hands down, I think he is. And that's why I'm going to try to give him the ball as much as I can.
Well, there is no question what the pro scouts think about him. Projected #1 pick in the NFL draft. Everybody knows he would have gone in the top 10 this past year and surprised everybody by turning down the NFL and coming back to college. Travis Minor around the left side. He gets a chunk and is out to the 44-yard line. Florida State needs to get up to the 47 for a first down.
Minor's a guy that has had a slight groin problem, but when he's healthy and it's a big game, he's ready to go. We'll keep an eye on Ross Brandon, by the way. The big, strong tackle, major concern, a knee problem that puffs up.
Straight ahead they go. Absolutely nothing there. Dan Kendra with his first carry of the night. Now, Peter Warrick is the only receiver to catch a pass tonight for Florida State. Let's go down to Jack Arute, get an update.
Well, Timmy, the situation was when he came off after that great reception, he complained of some dizziness. They were concerned that the dizziness was an indicator of fatigue and the possibility of cramps. One of the things that happens if you cramp up, you're going to be plagued with it the rest of the game. Preventive maintenance, icing him down, hydrating their game with. They hope to keep him in till the fourth quarter.
We're going to get Peter Warrick to fix your mic. He does everything. Here's Winky. Has the completion in the first down. It's complete to Antonio Bell, or Atruz Bell, rather.
Well, these guys can throw so many receivers at you. Winky, now one of the things that he has not done as well as he should is step up into the pocket. When you find your set point, come up. That time he found his set point, he didn't waver, but Mark Richt wants him to step back up on deeper drops.
Down to the 40-yard line. Actually, they'll mark it at the 41. Boy, this is a machine, though. I mean, this is one of the nation's most productive offenses. Peter Warrick, Lavernius Coles, Travis Minor, speed everywhere. So when one goes out, they just replace speed with speed.
Well, it's the depth that just amazes me. The talent is something special. Georgia Tech feels like they can match up with them pretty well with their first team. Seconds, though, they don't come close.
See what Wenke does on second down. Florida State needs 6 for the first. Here's Kendra. Big old Dan Kendra gets a huge ovation.
Yeah,
everybody knows his story.
Exactly. You know, Kendra is a guy who's been around here for such a long time, and he came in one of the most heralded recruits in Florida State history. And he's had problem after problem, and he's turned a setback into a comeback. And everyone here pulls for him. The coaching staff does, and the teammates as well. It's a great story.
Heralded high school player. Florida State has the first down. Hey, tomorrow on ABC Sports, you can see one of golf's greats. Tom Watson makes his senior PGA debut in the Comfort Classic. Tomorrow, live at 3 Eastern on ABC Sports. Sit back and relax. This will be the final round. A purse of $1.2 million. Tom Watson on the senior tour now.
Peter, top of your screen, back in.
On first down, Wenke looks his way. Now checks off, goes back that way, and incomplete. There's a flag, and he's going to be pass interference call. Lamar Clark was on his back.
I asked Chris Winke what his favorite pass is. He said, well, first of all, it's to number 9, and it's the post route. That's what he has right here. Jamar Clark is their pass interference. Left hand over the top. Definitely. Good call. You know, when you throw it deep to number 9, generally something good's going to happen. He's going to catch it and do a miracle after it, or they're going to interfere. More times than not,
by the defense.
It'll happen that way instead of incompletion.
First down.
Well, I've got to tell you something. I agree with George there. He has every right to that football, and he was going up for the pass, trying to knock it away. I'm not sure there was pass interference.
Well, I'm an offensive guy. You're a defensive guy. We'll have to take a look at it again.
This will be the last play of the first quarter. Tied at 7, but Florida State threatening. Minor spins out after he was hit and takes it down to the 10-yard line. Everything you could hope for in the first quarter. That's it. We're tied at 7. ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC station.
5 things to consider about the Chevy Impala. It's new. It starts under $20,000. It's designed, engineered, and built to be carefree. It's at your Chevy dealer now. It's received the highest frontal crash rating possible. 5 stars from the federal government. The new Chevy Impala. As USA Today put it, it's a lot more car than you imagine, at a lower price than you expect. The new Chevy Impala.
Let's go for a drive. Detlef, endlich.
Miami, Denver, Monday night at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific.
You see him on the back roads, you see him on the street. Let me tell you, mister, they sure look sweet. They're sleek and they're smooth and rugged to boot. They're a whole lot of style and they're fun to drive too.
Now's the time for a great deal on a new Ford Windstar LX. Get less than 1% APR plus $500 cash back on this safe and easy to drive minivan.
They're built for tough and that's a mighty strong stuff. When the road gets rough, you gotta drive for tough.
Just see your Southern Ford dealer today.
There's one thing I won't lose sleep over, and that's who's going to take care of my heating and cooling system.
That's because they call Locks Heating and Air Conditioning, your local Lennox dealer.
I trust my Lennox dealer because he meets the Quality Dealer Standards program. No other company has a program like it.
Why call anyone else but Locks Heating and Air Conditioning?
Now the only thing I have to worry about is what to eat at midnight.
How about the meatloaf in the back?
Now offering air duct cleaning. Lennox, one less thing to worry about.
On the next home improvement, the boys launch a neighborhood offensive.
Garbage!
And Jimmy gets caught in the crossfire. Monday at 7 on News Channel 27. You're watching News Channel 27.
I'm with Bobby Bowden. Bobby, your impressions of this first quarter. Are you surprised?
Well, they got their touchdown too dadgum easy. You know, one shot, that's good. They don't surprise me what they're doing, and it's like it's going to be a dadgum war. We sure need to score down here now.
What about the condition of Peter Ward?
I think it's okay. We just got to be careful we don't fatigue him, and you know, so he has to play and then rest.
Fellas?
All right, Jack, a dadgum war. Hey, that's a 2 dadgum interview. Way to go, Jack. We're set to begin the second 15. Wenke 5 of 9, 90 yards. Warwick 4 catches for 79 yards and a touchdown. We're tied at 7. Here's the handoff to Maddox. Maddox looking for help. Gets all the way down to the 6-yard line. You're looking at a true freshman, folks, Nick Maddox. And remember the number 37. He was the leading rusher in the first game, 46 yards on 7 carries. All right, here's the interference. You say it's not. I say it is. Let's get ready to stop it right there. Well, you didn't need it stopped. I saw where you were going over the top. I saw where you were going. Good call. The left hand on the shoulder. Yeah. After further review, I agree. Wenke with the give again to Maddox. Hey, this guy has some juice now. I really like this back. You know, they lose a guy. This tells you the depth at Florida State. Raymond Skaggs, you know, he's a great player. He goes in and says, Coach Bowden, I'm not playing enough. I'm going to transfer. Bobby says, all right, we'll transfer. Well, now this guy comes on. All Florida State does is reload with someone who is a terrifically talented Mike Maddox, and he's the 3rd running back. Second down and goal. Travis Minor comes back into the ballgame. Wenke looks to the corner, throws that direction incomplete. It was intended for Peter Warwick, who's back in the ballgame. Good coverage that time by Jamar Clark. They are battling. Now, Clark had the pass interference call, but he has really given Peter Warwick fits. Although Warwick has 4 catches for 79 yards. Here's a look at Jamar Clark, the junior. He's from Bradenton, Florida. Best cover guy for the Yellow Jackets. And this is a pretty good matchup, folks. Well, it is. And what's really interesting about it is these guys were high school teammates. Warwick was the quarterback on their club. He was throwing passes to him. What a matchup up top. 3rd down and goal for Florida State. Play action. Wenke goes over the middle. Kendra! Touchdown Seminoles! Well, the playbook is wide open. No one's thinking fullback, and they should have been.
Oh, you have to be happy for that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Dan Kendra. We talked about the heralded high school recruit that he was. Incredible publicity. He came here, blew his knee out. They said he would never play again. He rebuilt it, worked in the weight room, had all kinds of problems. He comes back. They move him from quarterback to fullback, and he scores. Janikowski's extra point is good, and Florida State leads 14-7 with 13:56 to play in the first half, and Winkie is all over it.
Out here, the stories unfold like a map. Stories written across the sky with the tip of an eagle's wing, or read between the lines of a sheer rock face. Stories you can hear in the thunder of a river. The kind of stories that could fill a scrapbook you'd want to page through again and again. Of course, to fill that scrapbook, you gotta get out there where the stories live. You're gonna need an outfitter for the journey, an outfitter for your dreams. Ford is your outfitter, offering you the most far-reaching sport utilities on Earth, each designed and built to take you where the stories begin and never end. Ford Outfitters, no boundaries.
Order a Pizza Hut pizza for carry-out or delivery and get the new ABC Fall Preview Guide free. Preview our hot new shows and get special Pizza Hut offers. ABC's fall season premieres Monday, September 20th.
This man, Dan Kendra, came to Florida State University as a highly touted quarterback. Backing up Tad Busby, he passed for over 1,000 yards, 12 TDs. Then, Timmy, as you said, he blew his knee out. He recuperated. He talked about quitting football. He came back to play fullback. And the big change, he said, in the recuperation, I accepted God. He said all of a sudden, football doesn't seem to matter so much.
Interesting story, and you have to be happy for a guy like Dan Kendra who has come back and fought through so much adversity. Hey, this guy is strong, too. A phenomenal athlete. Leg presses over 1,300 pounds. He's got size, he's speed. 6'2", 255 pounds. Came back to camp at 270.
Yeah, 270.
Then had a cyst in his knee, had to have that removed.
I would say that first quarter went pretty well for Dan Kendra.
Oh, there's no question about it. You know, his dad played at West Virginia. 13:50 to play in the first half. Florida State leads 14-7. Hamilton 4-5 so far. Here is to give up the middle to Philip Rogers, and there's absolutely nothing there. Simon and Johnson there to make the stop.
Well, Georgia Tech had the big play from Des White, but other than that, they've not done much offensively. They are stuck at 4 first downs, and there's a good look at Des. 11 first downs for Florida State.
Hey, this week's Applebee's Game Fact. Florida State is the only school in the NCAA history to have 12 straight 10-win seasons. Second down and 10 for the Yellow Jackets. Florida State jumps defensively. There are flags down. We'll see if they were drawn off.
The snap, offsides by the defense, 5 yards.
Yeah, Corey Simon and Jerry Johnson both jumped. So that'll help a little bit. Second down and 5 for the Jackets. Play action. Hamilton has time and throws into the flex. This is Wilder. And Wilder is up to the 39-yard line. He's knocked out of bounds there by Bradley Jennings. So that's a gain of 14. They'll move the chains and continue to move up the field.
What happens is when you have a 3-deep secondary, you've got man coverage, and all they do is slip the back out underneath. No one's there to pick him up. Nice pass, nice catch. It's easy like that, though.
Boy, Ed Wilder is a load. 6'2", 255 pounds. The ACC's best blocking back. Also looks like a pretty good receiver.
He's another one that's probably closer to 270 right now.
Joe Hamilton looks at the play clock. After looking at the defense, there was some confusion. He was not going to have time to check out of it, so he calls timeout to avoid the flag. 14-7, Florida State.
Why do I have Aflac insurance on top of my regular health insurance? Because he has his mother's eyes. Because I still have to teach him to whistle. And because Aflac helps cover what other insurance doesn't. If I'm injured, Aflac even provides cash to help pay bills. So why do I have Aflac? Did I mention he has his mother's eyes? Aflac supplemental insurance. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Play Burger King's Win Your Way college football game. With a new game every week, you could win $1 million, a Toyota RAV4, a trip to a bowl game, or the best tasting prize of all, a delicious Whopper. Burger King, when you have it your way, it just tastes better.
Still going. I've had marriages that didn't last this long.
He's got pride in his heart and dirt on his hands. There's one place to find a hard-working man. Ford Country, look at that truck. Ford Country, built for tough. Ford Country, when the work gets done. Ford Country, the whole world's Ford Country.
We've talked about Florida State sneaking up a safety, and effectively it's a 3-man secondary. They're locked into man coverage back there, and here you see 1, you see 2, and here's Durden right there. He's going to be involved in the run game if need be.
Look at this formation. Hamilton with time. Now has some room. Out across the 40. But very quickly, Florida State closes down on him. Well, you have to say to this point in the ballgame, it has been the 2 guys that we expected to have big games. Joe Hamilton with 139 yards passing, including the 80-yard pass to Des White for the touchdown. And Peter Warrick, 79 yards receiving, 11 rushing. He has the 1 touchdown from the quarterback position on a quarterback draw. He has just been spectacular. He also has a pass completion to Winky. Second down and long.
Now they go nickel.
Crowd noise a factor. Straight ahead they go is Joe Burns. He gets up close to a first down, but it would be a yard short.
You know, those defensive ends can flat out run. Seymour just ran down the quarterback, but here you go. Reynolds, 6'4", 254, 264, 250. There are the times. Now, that's by pro watches. 4.45 in the 40. 4.45, 4.43. I mean, running backs run 4.5 if they're fast. That's unbelievable.
Third down and 1. Noise a factor for Hamilton. Hamilton has the first down and then pays for it. Oh, what a lick by Derek Gibson, the Rover, who came up out of the safety spot like a linebacker and made the collision.
But Gibson is a sticker. He can flat out hit. He's another one. Speaking of speed, he's a sub 4.4 guy. But they're going to make Joe Hamilton pay for it. That time, Joe Hamilton doesn't care. They move the chains. Georgia Tech gets to keep moving toward a touchdown and run some time off that clock.
Again, play action, a lot of trouble, dangerous pass, incomplete. Oh, almost picked off. Mario Edwards had his hands on it. It was intended for Des White, and there is a flag. It's going to be against Florida State.
Holding by the defense, 10 yards from the previous spot. That's an automatic first down.
Yesterday we talked to Joe Hamilton at some length about everything, about the history he's had with Florida State. And we asked him how big this game with the Noles really is.
We haven't been able to beat them. So I think we're coming here with a good team, with the best chance I thought since I've been here to beat them. We had a very good chance last year and we didn't do it. But this year it's going to be harder because it's down in Tallahassee, but we're coming in full power, ready to do something big.
The give to Rogers, and he takes it down to the 36-yard line. But Joe Hamilton is special. Just a tremendous athlete and a great kid. We asked him about winning the Heisman Trophy, how important that is to him, and he said, you know what, if I go out and throw 8 interceptions in that game against Florida State, if I lose 40 yards and don't gain 1, but we win the ball game, I'll be the happiest guy in the world and will not care about any personal awards. Team player. 2nd down and 8. Play action again. This is Rogers, and he's taken down quickly. Let's go downstairs to Jack Arute.
Tim, you may wonder why you're playing such a big game so early in the season in the ACC. Well, here's the reason. The Sears Collegiate Trophy that'll go to the BCS champion. That game number 1 versus number 2. The ACC Conference hopes that maybe by playing big games early, where losing doesn't count as much as maybe losing late in the season, they could put 2, not 1, but 2 teams in the hunt for the BCS.
Now, keep in mind, the ACC doesn't have the inventory that some of the other larger conferences have, 9 teams. So this early exposure for them is good for the television, obviously. Last week, Virginia, North Carolina. This week, Georgia Tech and Florida State. Those are big games, and this is a big down. 3rd down and 4. Hamilton on the keeper has the first down.
Now, that's what a winning quarterback does for you. 3rd and 5 is considered 3rd and long in most people's books. O'Leary knows he has a guy that can make the plays. That time you go option and say, Joe, do it for us one more time. And he does it. Now, Florida State has a lot of defensive players, but they're having to stay on the field a long time.
But this is a good drive. They want to keep that Florida State offense off the field. Keep Warwick over there as much as they can. So the best defense for Georgia Tech is their offense and milking the clock, which they're doing. An 8-play drive here. Here's the pitch back to Burns. Inside the 25-yard line goes Georgia Tech and Joe Burns. Boy, great block by Ed Wilder.
Yeah, Wilder's a load up front. Joe Burns is a nice player. He's going to play some fullback, but he is a guy that can run over you if he needs to.
Tim Brandt, Dean Blevins, and Jack Arute with you. Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee. 9:28 to play in the first half. And this has been a terrific game. Florida State scored first. Georgia Tech came rolling right back with a big play. 19 seconds later, Hamilton went to Des White on an 80-yard touchdown. And then you just saw Dan Kendra moments ago score for Florida State again. And that's where we are, 14-7, Noles.
We must be having some cadence. This is something that Joe Hamilton is doing to draw off Florida State, if indeed, again, it is on Florida State. He has a veteran offensive line. The line says they listen to him very closely, but this would be the 2nd penalty.
Offsides by the defense, 5 yards from the previous spot. First down.
Well, we're talking about number 1 versus number 10 here, and this weekend the NFL starts. On ESPN, it's the season opener of Sunday Night Football. The new Cleveland Browns return to face Cordell Stewart and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then on Monday Night Football, Miami against Denver. Oh, what a great one that one should be. Terrell Davis. Ryan Greasy starting at quarterback. That has been controversial.
Well, nothing against him, but I'll take the Fins in that one. 2nd and 1's a lot better for Georgia Tech than 2nd and 6. Free play.
Hamilton gets a block, has room inside the 10, inside, touchdown, Joe Hamilton. 19 yards for Joe Houdini Hamilton.
Joe Hamilton Hamilton does a great job running the option. And one of the things you have to do as an option quarterback is be patient and let the play develop. Watch him come down the line, let his players execute. And that time, all he had to do is make a nice cutback move in the secondary and leave Gibson standing. Beautiful option play. It's an equalizer.
Now there is a flag by the 10-yard line on the far side, and the officials are now talking about it. I think it's going to be a delay game against Georgia Tech here after the touchdown.
Dead ball foul. Substitution infraction by the kicking team. 5 yards. Still a try.
So on to attempt the extra point, which is a little bit longer now, is Luke Monjay. Or George O'Leary, that'll drive him nuts. Worst thing you can have when you're playing a team as talented as Florida State, and mistakes like that, that's a mental error. Monjay's kick is up, and it's good. 9:06 to play in the first half, and folks, we are tied at 14 because of this guy, Joe Hamilton.
Hey man, she's here. Check it out. Oh, cool.
There they are.
Pick one.
Which one? You like this one? Easy then. Easy. How about this little guy? Huh?
Yeah. Good choice.
I'm Steve Kirby. These are my mountains. I test emissions for Ford Motor Company. We're up here in the Rockies testing Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury sport utility vehicles. We're really concerned about the environment. Every SUV we sell this year is going to be low emissions. These vehicles average 35% less smog-forming emissions than the government requires. 35%. That's really amazing. The government doesn't make us do this. We're doing this for my mountains.